Let's say that you make a ton of money in the upcoming crypto bull market. Hopefully in 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe less. We'll see how that plays out. Why are you here? Why are you in crypto? What are you going to do after that? And you're thinking, that's obvious. I'm just going to turn it all into cash and now I got a bunch of cash. That's what I wanted and I'll just move on with my life. Well, I'm going to show you a chart here in a second that might completely change your perspective. And I would hope that it does. I'm Brian. My disclaimer, as I always say, is I'm a big dumb animal. Don't do what I do. Informational purposes only. And I'm going to show you here. You can see there's a link down below. If you want to open an IRA account that you can buy crypto in. Individual cryptos. Why would you do that? Well, again, as I'm about to show you, you may not want to hold everything in currency. There's other options. I've been using this for a while. I believe in it. Second thing, I got a link down below for my school community. I'll talk about that in a second. All right. Take a look at this chart. This is the total market. It goes back on a daily basis. This was the run-up 2 bull cycles ago. This was the run-up last bull cycle. And now we're in the current one. What about these times in between? Generally speaking, the thought process of past markets is that you had essentially 3 years of bear, a year of bull, 3 years of bear, a year of bull from the total market. Of course, there's anomalies, things that go up and down all the time. But if you look at it in those cycles, because the Bitcoin cycle is a 4-year cycle, the halving, what about those 3 years in between? Well, I'm a big believer in crypto, and I'm not just talking about the idea that you can invest and turn around with a really nice multiple depending upon market conditions. Yes, it seems as if it is the best place to put your capital at the moment. But what about long-term crypto? Things have changed quite a bit since back here to here and to here. And what do I mean by that? Well, in terms of crypto, you can now use credit cards and earn crypto rewards. You can use debit cards. They can be tied to a crypto account where your money is actually kept. Let's just say not your money, where your assets, let's say, are kept. And then as you need to turn it into a currency, because you're purchasing something that requires a currency, then it sells for you at your direction. You can choose what crypto you want it to sell and that sort of thing. You can sell ahead of time. You can say, you know what, for the next month, I'm going to need $4,000 in US currency. So I'm going to go ahead and sell this particular crypto, $4,000 worth, and my debit card will just take from that USD or USDC for the next month and then repeat the process. Why would you do that? Because as we all know, wealth is held in assets. If you look in the US in particular, the majority of the wealthy, they hold typically assets, not dollars. Look at this chart. This is fascinating. I had AI just look at the 10-year growth of $10,000 going from 2015 to 2025. Here are the various rows. We've got the Dow Jones. That's 30 stocks, New York Stock Exchange. We've got the S&P 500, 500 stocks. We've got gold per ounce. We've got crypto. It was looking at the total market cap starting at 2015. And it went from 17,425, the Dow Jones, to 43,000, 150% gain over that period of time, essentially 9% a year. S&P 500 went from 2,000 to over 6,000, 200% gain, slightly more than the 30. People always talk about, or at least in the past have always said, over a long period of time, the S&P 500 can typically outperform most money market managers or money fund, mutual fund managers, you name it. Gold per ounce was 1,000 around 2015, 3,300, 200%. So you've got stocks, you've got commodities. Let's look at crypto. 10 billion, now it's at 3.8 trillion, 38,000% gain. Of course, to be completely transparent, we all believe, as we've seen, that over time, the growth of the crypto market, as it gets bigger, the percentage growth will become less and less. However, I think it's still going to outperform everything in my lifetime and probably yours. Cash. Here's the kicker. $10,000 in 2015. Adjusted for inflation, down 27%. So your buying power of that 10,000. So what do I mean? Well, you look in your bank, 2015, you have $10,000. You look in your bank account, 2025, you have $10,000. And you say, I didn't lose anything. I still have $10,000. Well, no. Because of inflation, everything's gotten more expensive. 2015, the price of a car was way different than it is today. Price of a house, way different. Price of shoes, price of eggs, you name it. So the buying power is really 7,250. What does this chart tell you? It tells you that you want nothing to do with currency. Absolutely nothing. You don't ever want to hold it. Currency is a hot potato that you don't want to hold. If you need it right now, you convert an asset and you use it. That sort of thing was really not available at the speed of which it is now back in prior years. So what's fascinating to me, when we look over time and we say, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to put your money in a bank? Let's think about how much banks have changed from 2017, 2015 till today, 2025. In 10 years, what are the accomplishments of banks? Think about that. I'll tell you, nothing. Nothing's different. Can you get a mortgage? Always could, always can. Can you get a car loan? Always could, always can. Checking account, savings account, CD, all the little products that they want to give you and give you a minuscule amount on and then make the money on the back end themselves. Nothing's changed. We should all be very upset at banks because they've made a lot of money over the years and you haven't made squat. And now's your turn to de-bank and get out of currency and get into assets. So what I'm talking about is think about these next couple years after this bull run. At the moment, we really haven't taken off yet. The others market, which is altcoins, is about 250 billion. Last high was 500 billion. We're going to 2x before we even hit last time's high. And believe me, I strongly believe, you make your own decisions with your own research, that we have come a long way in the last 4 years. So hitting the all-time high in the others market is just the start. It's literally like being at the starting blocks of your 100-meter dash and someone just fired the gun. This is when the gun goes off here, not down here. This is when the gun goes off and we start that 100-meter dash. And I'm hoping it'll be about 2 trillion this time. Why would you join and take a look at my crypto school? My crypto school, we have discussions. We have updates every day. We're primarily focused on current market conditions. Are we in a bull? Are we in a bear? We're in a bull. We're going into an alt season. What do we do? How do we maximize our profit? Like this particular course here goes through multiple different ways that you can try to maximize, different strategies you can use. I've got many of them, but most of what I'm doing now is focused on that. Then we're going to move into what do we do in this bear market? There's all kinds of ways to stake for yield that you're going to get a much better yield that you're going to get at some bank. There's ways to, when it comes to providing liquidity and liquidity pools on various platforms. And of course, all of this exists. And it doesn't matter which particular crypto you like. There's going to be opportunities for Bitcoin. There's huge opportunities for Ethereum, whether it be SUI or whether it be using something like Aerodrome on the base network, or you're into Hedera and Bonzo and Saucer Swap. These opportunities are on every chain you can think of, and there's so many of them. Being able to debank and keep assets and not cash, because remember, we don't want cash. So I've been creating my YouTube content for about a year now. I've been into crypto for quite a while. And every day I talk about, look at this crypto and what it could do, and look at this one, and look how you can make some money here. But to be honest with you, that's just the tip of the iceberg for me. What I really believe is we are going into a huge financial revolution, and it's going to be those that have the information and are willing to invest some time to understand how this new financial paradigm is going to work, the tokenization of everything, and those that aren't. They're going to stick their head in their sand. They're going to say that none of this exists, even though it's trillions of dollars, that it's no better off than just putting your money in the bank, and they're going to wake up one day and they're going to be very sorry. So I would say to you, not just doing research on various crypto, but get ready, because once you sell and make those profits, what are you going to do with it? Now, we might move it to stable coins for a bit till the market flattens out if we go into somewhat of a bear, but then I'm going to be right back into crypto and right back into debanking myself completely. I will only need currency for that moment when I need it, because I'm no longer going to go for those 1, 2, 3, and 4% rates when I can get substantially more, even just on a stable coin. I'm not talking about individual crypto. I'm talking about your financial future. That's also why I talk about that IRA account, because I don't want my money, even at my old age, sitting in a treasury bill. I want my money sitting in crypto because that has the highest return. And I think even though it may be less than what we're seeing at the moment, over time you have diminishing returns, I still think it's going to skyrocket. So if you want to learn more about crypto, take a look at my crypto school, because that is an ongoing thing to get out of banking and to give you a much better financial future. That's what I'm doing for myself and my family. Consider it. Have a great day.